What's up, everybody? So, today's Trad Method Monday is going to be about spacing and tension. What I'm talking about with spacing and tension is spacing of the interlocks and then the tension of the string, the crosslace, or sidewall if that's what you decide to use, the string between those interlocks. Okay? To start off, a lot of people think that there's different ways to do spacing, and there really is. But when people talk about spacing, they're really just talking about the interlocks from, say, here to here. It's not so much the spacing of, say, this leather to this leather. That kind of comes later. When you're trying to do proper spacing for your interlocks, what you usually want to go for is where it's completely even throughout the head. So when you start from your top string, from the top of the head, or however you're going to do it, but whenever you start from the top of the head, you want to determine your spacing from that first interlock. From that first interlock, you pretty much determine where your first casting point is going to end up actually connecting. Sure, you can lay out your sidewall a certain way, and I'll get into that in another video about sidewall preparation when you're doing a traditional of any type, really. But from this first interlock going into your first sidewall casting point, you really want to pay attention to the size of the diamond that you're about to create, because then that determines the size of the rest of them, especially when you're first starting the pocket. When you're moving down, when you're moving down the sidewall, you want to make sure that you do the same distance in between each interlock. If you don't do that, the whole pocket's going to be thrown off. You're going to have what I've talked about before. You're going to get bunching without even trying. It's just what happens. And as you're going through, make sure that your interlocks are more or less tight around the leathers. You don't want to start tightening things up right at the start, but the spacing needs to be even. Yeah, it doesn't have to be perfect, because nobody's going to make it perfect. You're not going to be able to be pretty much be able to go through the entire pocket and be like, okay, each and every interlock is an inch and a half apart. It's not going to happen that way. Even me, who's pretty decent at it, I'm not going to say that I'm the best or anything like that, but me, who some people consider a master and whatnot, I don't even get them perfect every single time. I don't get the same exact spacing. I know Shane Little, who actually did this one, I pay attention to what he does. Even he doesn't get it perfect, and that's fine. As long as you stay at least very close to the same diamond size, or just in general your spacing, as long as it's generally the same, it's going to be okay. It's going to keep things consistent, it's going to keep things rolling, and it's just going to look good. Like, even if it's just a little off, it's not going to change how it looks. It's not going to make it that much worse. So, as you're going through, you want to determine the size of them, the size of each diamond. It all depends on how many diamonds you want to make, how many symmetrical ones, and even your asymmetrical ones, like a classic. Doesn't matter. It's going to be pretty much going through, making sure it's the same size. So if you're going down the center, going down the sides, try and keep that spacing the same. Even if you string it flat, which most people do, even if you string it flat, or if you string it around your hands. So that's spacing. Now, when we're talking about tension, you want to be able to control the leathers. So last time I was talking about bunching. When you're messing with your tension, you want to make sure that it's fairly even. Everything needs to be meticulous, basically. If you're not meticulous and paying attention to what you're doing, everything's just going to basically fall apart. Now, when I'm talking about tension, we're talking about when, as if you were to pull this string tight, and then that sort of thing happens, where this leather basically gets out of place. So, to alleviate or stop bad tension from happening, if you're just starting off with in your stringing experience and career, whatever you want to call it. If you're just starting off, you want to try and work on stringing flat. A lot of guys out there are like, oh, you need to get the pro stringer, you need to string around the ball, blah, blah, blah. No. If you really want to start off the right way and in a way that where you have better control over what's going on with this pocket, string it flat. That's how you get your spacing down. And then that's how you also notice how your tension is. When you string flat, your leathers are going to be completely flat. They're going to be symmetrical in depth. So that's how you get to control your tension. When we're talking about tension, you really want to be able to just pay attention. You want to be able to look at this. Don't rush it. When you're going down the center, or even going down the sides, if you create pulling on one string and that sort of thing starts to happen to the leathers, that means you're going a little too tight. And even if it's just a little bit, it needs to be kind of straight. It's okay while you're going through and like pushing through the string. Once you've actually found your sweet spots, you want to actually go through and make sure that the leathers are balanced. By balanced, I mean as if I'm going down this row right here down the middle. It's okay to pull this leather just a little bit to where it kind of creases towards that side, but just a little bit, because once you go up or down the next section, the tension from that next section should pull the leather back over. So that's basically how you balance your tension. And with the balance of the tension, you get your definition of your pocket. Now, it's a little bit more difficult when you're going up the side leathers of a pocket. That's where if you're going to have string around the ball, or if you're going to try and work in the pocket, you want to leave a bit of excess from your start point. If it's your bottom or your top, wherever your start point is, you want to leave maybe about a foot excess of string, so that you can, as you're pounding out the leathers and stuff, you realize that these side sections are a little too tight. So what you do is you undo your knots on either the top or the bottom once you've started breaking it in, and then you find the proper tension and balance of that side string, the very side outside track, and then you loosen it, feed through more, whatever you got to do, creates the leathers to go straight again, whatever the case may be. And it's basically all you got to do, guys. You guys just have to play with the tension, play with how tight you're making the string. And then that's when the bunching comes in, and that's when everything else that I'm going to be talking about kind of comes into play. So you just have to pay attention to what you're doing when you're pulling real hard on a string, what it's doing to the other leathers, what it's doing to the other string, what it's just doing in general. Take your time. That's one of the biggest things that I always have to say about stringing a traditional is be patient, because you're not going to get it right the first time. There's a lot of guys that get close that have come to me for advice and stuff, and I'm like, you're really close. You just rushed. Yeah, everybody does it. I did it at first. I was always rushing and everything like that. Take your time, guys. It's an art, okay? It's a lifestyle for some people. If you think just watching these videos, watching East Coast Dies and everybody, and Lax All Stars, TLN, everybody like that, if you think you're just going to be able to watch those videos, sit down and string something up and think it's going to be perfect every single time, you're very mistaken, because I've ran into a number of people that thought that, and then I point something out and they're like, I never even realized that. It's because they don't take the time to learn. You got to be patient. So we've talked about your spacing, we've talked about the tension. Together, it just creates a balance. I've been keep on saying balance throughout this entire video. That's what it comes to. Asymmetrical, symmetrical, where it's like a pita pocket. Asymmetrical, where it's like this. It doesn't matter. Whatever type of traditional you're trying to work on, take your time, pay attention to the tension, pay attention to the size, and it's all going to come together. Okay? Thanks for watching, guys. Like, comment, subscribe. This has been Trad Method Monday. I'll catch you later.